Hey there, fellow woodworkers, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Songs of Syx, Episode 5, Adding the First Industry. So I'm going to hold off on adding any more people to our population until we really have secured a renewable source of food. Right now we have about a year's worth of food, so like adding more people when I only have a year's worth of food doesn't seem prudent. Additionally, we can do a little bit of hunting, but I don't want to have to do a lot of hunting. Cretonians aren't, they're not omnivores, they're vegetarians. So I'd like not to have to dip into hunting. We are in spring, and we are heading towards another forage season soonish. But I think the scope of this project allows us to wrap up so that the free jobbers can go forage again. Kellyan, thank you for all the gifted subs. Thank you, thank you. While we build these, let's also roundify them a little bit. Can't roundify every side of it. And then in this spot, it's just going to be awnings, but still roundified. And at some point, it wouldn't be a bad idea to add harmony, torches, benches, etc. But I don't need to consider that right now. If we take a look at the path usage, you can see a lot of people are taking diagonal shortcuts. But once I have like a housing cul-de-sac in this area, there'll be fewer shortcuts. Plus, a lot of this path usage is odd jobbers doing the initial construction, and where the odd jobbers work for the initial construction isn't necessarily the everyday usage path. But I really like to lay out my paths with desire path in mind. Desire path is essentially where people like to walk, where people want to walk, not where you do the pavements. So if you look at like a public park, if people constantly take the same shortcut and wear down the grass, that is what is called a desire path. So I like to kind of wait to see how people use a space and then like pave around it, so that it's like optimally efficient. It might not be perfectly aesthetic, but it's like how people want to walk. And I'm hoping to wrap up the carpenter and the carpenter's warehouse and the general warehouse before summer, so the odd jobs can start to forage again. Because we're down to 11 months of food. Got to get those rookie numbers up. Now, one thing that we can check is the net. So currently, we have a net negative of grain every year due to spoilage and the bakeries using it. But I have just started a second grain farm. So that second grain farm isn't really showing in the net positives yet. And that's only because it's brand new and just got sown. So it just hasn't had time to prove itself. As you can see, the fertility is higher, but the work value and skill is lower. People haven't worked the fields and they're not experienced enough, but eventually this second field will yield more than the first one. I don't know if this is going to finish in time, especially the carpenter, but I'll let it roll. Alright, so the warehouse, this is going to be the wood warehouse. And, well, yeah, just stick wood in it. I like to increase radius, like, by up to 10 on most of my warehouses. 10 is a pretty comfortable, like, radius. So here is the 10 radius. Actually, 10 might be overkill. Like, you can even get away with 5 on a lot of it. But I do 10 anyway. Unless I'm saddled with some super bad inefficiencies. No, I think we'll finish in time before the fall. Before late summer, I should say. Which is good. It's fully it's all construction materials have been delivered and it's near done. So this warehouse is the carpentry warehouse. Actually, I should call it the furniture warehouse. So a carpenter makes more than just furniture. They can also make improvised weapons or shields and things like that. But for this carpentry or carpenter, it's just going to be for furniture. So I'm going to fire. I'm actually going to close it because I want my odd jobbers foraging. Or no, maybe I'll have 2 carpenters in there. But here's the recipes. You can turn wood into furniture. You can turn wood and stone into makeshift weapons if you have the right research, or wood and leather into shields. But, you know, as I said, for this carpenter, it's going to be for furniture. So this thing emits noise. Take a look at the noise map. So I'm going to probably set up my hearth and wells where the noise is, and then build the cul-de-sac for carpentry further outside of the noise. But I'm not going to do that right now because it's going to be forage time in just a minute. But now my carpenters are going to be making furniture, and that furniture can be used to build the woodcutter, to build the benches, and build the market. One other, I might need a janitor closer to here. This, I think, is within the sphere of influence of the janitor. Oh, yeah, just barely. So my initial janitor is a bit too far to maintain all of this area. So probably eventually get a second janitor up here, as well as the other infrastructure required for population. But 2 of the quickest to set up here would be the hearth and the well, which I'll do now. Because hearth and wells can keep people alive. And living your population being alive is, you know, interestingly important. It also looks like we're nearly out of wood. So I'm going to do a small fell tree order for where I will be farming. So when I manually cut down trees, I want them cutting down trees in spots that I need to build in the future. So I'm going to eventually be farming this area for like grain or vegetables or something, right? So it serves a double purpose. Trees regrow pretty quickly though. So cutting down trees in an area that you're going to use in like the distant future is not going to be that useful because the trees will regrow before you know it. Okay, hearth, well, good. Take a look at that noise map again. Got it. And it's not quite forageable yet, so the odd jobs are replenishing our wood amount. Because, of course, don't forget, wood is not just for construction, it is for the bakery, it is for the hearths. I wonder where our first benches are going. Furnitures, I mean. The other thing I could do is the general warehouses no longer store wood. I don't need them to, because we have a dedicated wood storage now here. It doesn't make sense to also double it up in the general. I really don't know where the first batches of furniture are going. Now, Cretonians are like really bad carpenters, so I have a huge penalty to the amount of a species penalty to the amount of furniture that I can make. As you can see, it's like 50% normal. as a negative multiplier. Just the way it is. The goal is to make a self-reliant Cretonian city, so I'm not going to be importing it. Inefficient is fine. And I'm going to add, I'm going to increase the radius, because this is like wood storage for everything. I'm going to increase the radius up to like 33% and then add 2 delivery people. So it should be forage time? Yeah. And where my odd jobbers are moving some of the wood that we needed moved out of the general warehouse, but now I think they're foraging. Yep, here we go. So I'm making sure that my carpenters don't live far enough away in these homes that they're homeless. So next project can be something else. I could do fruit orchards, vegetable farms. I could do carpentry cul-de-sac. Lavatories. Lavatories or toilets. It's a commonly requested thing that my population has asked for. Or benches and trees. Sort of the harmony type stuff. There you go. There's the poll. Thank you for voting. And Turtle, thank you for the cheer. I look really small on the map? Yeah. Well, there's a lot happening on the screen, so I didn't want to take up a lot of real estate. I'm also going to authorize population 28. I'm going to authorize 7 people to join, bringing my population up to 35. I'll have 20 odd jobbers, and that should make very quick work of the forging this year, and then even quicker work for whatever the next project's going to be for next year. Some of the new people coming in are starving. Nothing I can do about that. That's totally normal. Alright, our jobbers should be doing the mushrooms now. Yep. Down to apples, vegetables, and last but not least, the cotton. I'm running out of cotton storage, but I just removed wood out of the general storage so I can add cotton in here. I'm going to remove furniture, as I don't need to store furniture in my general storage. Now I have a dedicated storage for it. And I also don't need bread in here either. So this general warehouse, I'm going to say stores a bunch of stuff I actually don't have. But that's like the purpose of general storage, is like the overflow of the things that you haven't like made room for yet. Trying to figure out what percentage of foraging we've done, because then I'll hire delivery men once it's done, and then queue up other projects. Alright, so the vegetables are done. This fruit is nearly done, and then the cotton is getting done now. It looks like the carpentry cul-de-sac will be the next project. Okay, so all of the foraging is now done. So this general storage, which is mostly for the food, going to go up to 4 delivery men, and then I'll start building the carpentry cul-de-sac. So we already have the hearth and the well. I don't know. Yeah, I'll do religion and speakers and everything. I'll double it all up. I don't think it's too much of a problem. Is everyone believing in the same thing still? No, we have 2 that believe in authorism. Got it. So we're also going to include a shrine to Athuri. Now this cul-de-sac doesn't need to be that large because there's not as many carpentry and woodcutters as there are farmers. I don't know where the Athurists live, so I'm going to make a shrine to Athuri over in the farming cul-de-sac as well. The shrine to Cantor is cheap. It's made of wood and it upgrades cheaply. Athuri is made of stone and it upgrades with some pretty expensive materials. So shrines to Cantor, one of the advantages of the Cretonians is their temples are very inexpensive, or their shrines rather are very inexpensive. But that's not true for all shrines. So we have the shrines, and I put the shrines where they are now, mostly because it's where the noise is from the carpenter. So taking a look at the noise map here, let's put the... I did say I wanted a janitor, so let's go ahead and just like copy our first janitor and plop it over in this noisy section. Then we want food, stalls, and markets. So I don't really need to worry about the noise map now. So there's the food stall. And the market. Oh, I think I did that backwards. There we go. Do a harmony tree right here in the middle that kind of like hits everything within this courtyard. I guess I'll also do a speaker. And then we'll start laying out the houses. And there's going to be fewer of them because I just don't have the population needs for more. So 1 longhouse, 2 longhouse, 3, 4. That's probably going to be enough. So much bleeding. I'm going to have to kill some of those onks. They're annoying. Alright. Seems pretty straightforward. From a structure standpoint, let's create a road around that. I also like to, just for maybe mostly aesthetic reasons, have them be enclosed. So then this road is going to be the main road into this cul-de-sac. And I know this is hard to see or read, but the extra stuff I'm adding in here is just to roundify stuff. That's going to be enclosed. Okay. Got it. Well, it's a big project. the delivery men are now still collecting stuff. They're fetching the goods, and then as soon as they're done, I'll try to remember to fire them so they can odd job and do work over here. I also hired a few more carpenters so that we have more of the furniture being made for all the things that we want to put in here. Because I am also going to want to incorporate... Let's do a torch here and a much smaller one. Where's the janitor entryway? A smaller torch here. I have a big tree, so I don't really need to worry about other trees, and then we'll do benches. I'll do one tree. Small little tree there. There we go. Happy little cul-de-sac. Alright, checking up on the hauling. Still vegetables. Fruit's been hauled. So probably the vegetables, this fruit, and the cotton. That's what's left to be pulled. So there was, what, 4 people working here and potentially 10 in here, so 14. That's only 2 of the longhouses plus the speaker, which is 15, 2 of the longhouses. A delivery man, that's... So we have like almost twice as many houses as what is necessary. There's also the janitor, so maybe once this is fully staffed, we're going to use 3 out of the 4 longhouses, meaning that the 4th longhouse is just when we expand woodcutting. So I'm building a room as a buffer to grow a population. And I think the market over here... Oh, we have benches. Yeah, okay. So some of the benches got built. And then 3 of the furniture for the market has been delivered. So yeah, the carpenter is already starting to adorn our village, which is good. All right, has things been hauled? All veggies, yes. Fruit, yes. There's some fruit left, so the delivery and some cotton left, so the delivery men are still going to keep doing their job. Fruit and cotton, yeah. And it says I'm ran out of wood. No problem. Fell some trees. I may actually delete this dirt road to further enclose the this area. Like that. Cheers. All right, checking on the deliveries. Fruit got moved. Not all of it's actually foraged. And the cotton got moved, but not all of it's foraged. Some of it ripens later on, so it's like a second harvest. You can think about it that way. We have about a year's worth of food, which is kind of on target. I mean, I wish it was more, but it's safe. So here's the next upgrade to the Athuri Shrine, which is masoned stone. For reference, the upgraded Cantor Shrine is just furniture, which is why it's cheaper. And then the second upgrade is significantly cheaper for Cantor over Athuri, or however you pronounce it. All right, we got benches, we got trees, we got a well. And then the longhouses are coming together once we cull or fell more of the trees. And you can see people are already living in here that work in the carpenter and delivery men. No, the delivery's probably done as we're in winter now. Yeah. So the general delivery men for a load. Taking a look at the noise map. So here's the harmony. So it's a pretty harmonious little courtyard, cul-de-sac. Noise, the homes aren't noisy. Roundness. It's pretty round in there, so they're happy. We still need a lot more wood to get the full structures built. But we have our odd jobbers chopping that down. I also think, because we have a backlog of a need for furniture, I'm just going to fully hire out the carpenter. So we have 9 odd jobs and 10 or 12 carpenters, because we have a lot of currently unfinished tasks with carpentry for the markets and the benches and the woodcutters, etc. So it's a high need. What should the next project be? So fruit orchards, vegetable farms, lavatories. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Those 3, I think, are pretty reasonable. So you pick. I also think that this dirt road is no longer strictly necessary. So I'm going to remove it. And I am going to create a more organically diagonal road. So in the roads tool, if I go to line and then hold left control, I can create a wider diagonal road. And then once I paint that, clean it up a little bit. There we go. So now we have a diagonal road to it that is far more likely to be used than 2 horizontal ones. I didn't check the path usage ahead of time, but I'm assuming the path usage would have matched the demand. Yeah. So there's a bunch of different ways to make roads, but I like to make, for diagonal ones, I like to make line roads that are wide. Because not wide line roads look like this. Where like every other step you're like, it looks broken. So, yeah. Alright, there's the janitor. I'm going to limit it to 1. I don't think we need the 2. In fact, of the original janitor, I'm going to reduce that down to 1 as well. And just periodically check back in the maintenance overlay to see. A lot of those other passages is just the odd jobbers going out to cut trees, but they don't require roads for that. That wouldn't make sense. And I'm cutting trees. I did originally say I wanted to cut trees where work was going to be done, but I'm cutting trees over here just because it's physically close to the wood storage. So it was for efficiency's sake. Okay, fruit orchards is going to be next. So this is going to be our winter project. Build fruit orchards. I do have a question about this, though. A follow-up question. The easy way to do fruit orchards, if we take a look at the total fertility, would be to build fruit orchards, like, let's say, around here, so that we have grain. Let me hide fertility. So we have a grain silo here, and this would be the grain center. And just to expand upon the agrarian area, I could do fruit orchards like over here, where it's fertile, or over here, where it's fertile. This is by no means too far away from my agrarian housing. The alternative method would be to plan out, and this is definitely more difficult, but to plan out fruit orchards where there is base soil fertility, which would require canals. So there's some fertile land over here, which is not naturally irrigated. So I'll explain this concept again. The total fertility of soil is a mix of groundwater access and soil fertility. So the soil along the river or the shoreline is fertile, but it's mostly fertile because it has groundwater access. Its base fertility is only like 26%, 30% or so. The fertility in here, the soil is a lot better, but it just doesn't have groundwater. So if I built my orchards over here, there is the headache of needing the research for water pumps and canals, the labor for water pumps and canals, the logistics of moving fruit from this area back over to where I want to consume the fruit, where people live. And also, like, I would need another agrarian cul-de-sac. So it's a bit of a headache. The benefit is, once I have all of that set up, it could potentially be higher yield because the soil over here is better, but it will take a while for that to bear fruit. Meaning it's way easier to just set up orchards here, and then maybe later on to have really high yield orchards over here. I think, my 2 cents, closer orchards would be smarter and easier to do, but I'll have you guys choose. Where should I build the fruit orchards? Shoreline or rich soil? The soil over here is like good enough that I could get away without having canals for now, and they benefit later on from canals. But it's still pretty far away, so it would require me to build houses and shrines and wells and all the other infrastructure required. Whereas over here, it doesn't require any of that because it's close by. Okay, we have at least one market. The market here stores stuff like wood, furniture, pottery, cloth, livestock, and these markets service the people that live near them. So the market needs for our Cretonians, our plebeian Cretonians, are being met. Now, in one of their demands, they're saying our city is in danger of being raided. We need to have the means to defend ourselves. You can pretty much ignore that. The reason being, we're very poor and we're very obscure. So we have like about 1 unit of riches in our colony, which is derived from the resources that we have, but we are way more obscure. So the chance of being raided is essentially zero, and so their need for security is, their security demand is not going to be met. It's also worth noting that even if I wanted to secure it, we get training grounds to be able to train soldiers at population 75. For reference, I'm at 35. And then in order to provide like security, like a law, you get legati at population 300 for guard posts, dungeons, scaffolds, stocks. So we are so far away from being able to actually provide security that you can just effectively ignore that desire that they have. All right. Looks like you guys want shoreline fruit. Got it. So I am going to be planning on building additional grain in this area. So this is grain farms that are dormant because I have the planning enabled. So I am putting them down, but I'm not actually, I'm not actually building them. I just want to make space for them so they don't fill the area with the fruit. So the fruit's going to be more over this way. Yeah, let's keep going. This is even more into the grain. Oops, that was a miss. Click. And yes, you will need like farms in this scope. Like this amount of grain field will help feed like 100 or so, 200, 300, like until your research starts on allowing you to research more efficient grain farming. Like you need to scale up like this. So this is just the plan for the future. Thank you for tuning in to Songs of Syx, which originally streamed live on Twitch as a marathon November 23rd. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind I'm not looking for feedback. This episode was cut from a marathon, and the marathon was streamed one time only, so feedback cannot be incorporated. If you would like to join a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams, and if you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. A link to my Patreon page can be found there as well, if that interests you. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream of another game. Farewell, my fellow Cretonians.